It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree?
Yes.
You are knowing what you are wanting. You are enjoying the evolution of your own desire. You're understanding that it continues to evolve, that you are a never-ending work in progress, that your work is a never-ending work in progress. You are understanding that you are eternally incomplete. Important to know that. For until you accept that we are eternally incomplete, then you might find yourself frustrated when there is something that you have defined that you want that has not yet manifested. Sometimes you feel unworthy or incapable, or you're just irritated that it's taking so long. And if you will remind yourself at that point that we are all eternally incomplete and that we never get it done, sometimes it takes that edge off your feeling of impatience about something right now. And anything that takes that edge off is good. Because the only thing that hinders you or makes you sick or keeps you from anything that you want or holds you to anything that you don't want is that feeling of discomfort when you are focused upon something you're remembering, something you're observing, something you're imagining that doesn't match your desire and who you are. How is that so? Well, it is so because you are leading edge creators in the perfect environment of variety. And this variety causes you who are focusing mechanisms of source energy, to conclude preferences. And when that preference is concluded within you, it is the forming of a summoning. In other words, the preference, whether you are even conscious of it or not, is a summoning vibration that source responds to instantly. So when you say ask and it is given, you could not be more accurate, except that sometimes you don't realize that the asking is done vibrationally, not verbally. Sometimes your verbiage matches your vibration, sometimes it doesn't. But it doesn't really matter what your verbiage is, it is the vibration of your being that is the summoning, because this is a vibrational universe and you are vibrational beings. You're good at being vibrational, so good you don't even know you're doing it in most cases. You translate vibration into everything that you perceive here in this environment. Sight is vibrational translation, so is sound, so is taste and touch and smell. Everything that you perceive is perceived because you are vibrational interpreters. And you have another vibrational interpreter within you that is your emotion, that lets you know in every moment the content of your vibrational makeup, which is really worth knowing and being consciously aware of, because whatever you are vibrating, you are attracting in this universe that is based upon law of attraction. So here you stand, whether you know it or not, offering a vibration, whether you're aware of the vibration that you're offering or not, and that vibrational output is your point of attraction. What you think is what you vibrate, and what you vibrate is your point of attraction. And what you vibrate is indicated to you by how you feel. Just like what's in the dish is indicated to you by how it looks and how it smells and how it tastes. And so as you begin to realize that you are these wonderful leading edge creators who perceive and conclude from your gloriously selfish, meaning individual perspective, you get to identify your preferences, consciously and unconsciously. And every one of them, conscious or unconscious, is answered by source energy. So sometimes our physical friends say, Abraham, there is something really screwy about what you just said, because I know that there are things that I want or desire. I know there are things that I'm asking for that aren't coming. And we say, that's not true. They are coming. You're just not letting them in. And the reason that you're not letting them in is because sometimes you are preferring things that you don't vibrate about very much. In other words, contrast causes you to come to a crescendo of desire, but the desire is a fleeting rocket of desire where the normal maintenance of your vibration, which you sometimes call belief, is somewhere altogether different. So what happens is your desire and how you usually think relative to those subjects that feel incomplete to you is not the same. A really good way of approaching this, a way that we believe you will hear very clearly is, as you've moved through time, you've had experiences that you have contemplated, and you've had them in conjunction with other people who were having experiences, and they were contemplating them also. So as you were little and you were born into an environment that was already in motion, to people who were already having experiences and who were already having emotional responses to their experiences, you then joined them and you began to, at all levels of your being, observe their vibrational experiences. And in many cases, you began to vibrate just like they did, because the way your mother felt was very clear to you. The way your best friend felt was very clear to you. What happened to somebody that you knew, which was very vivid in their experience, sometimes became very vivid in your experience. And so you began to observe and offer vibrations that today, in many cases, you are still offering out of habit and with the help of law of attraction. And some of them are not serving you. Some of them don't match your desire. Now, we want to be very clear here. Many of them do. In fact, most of them do. Look at the way you live. You are living extremely well. Most of your beliefs and expectations are serving you enormously well. And we are not here so much to talk about what is going wrong in your experience, as we are wanting to help you to understand that you do have absolute creative control of your own experience, and in fact intended to have that when you came forth into this experience. You never did say, I will go forth, and whatever's vibrating the loudest around me, I'll pick that up, and that's how I'll live. So, you have these vibrations within you that you might call dominant vibrations. Sometimes you call them core beliefs. And these dominant vibrations, you can tell what they are. For example, when you think about the subject of dollars, does it feel to you like freedom and joy and fun and fancy? Or does the subject of dollars feel like hard work and struggle? You can tell right away which way you lean. When you think about your dominant relationship, does it feel like freedom and fun and expansion, or does it feel like struggle and hard work, bondage? You can tell. And sometimes you say, well, it feels like some of all of that, and we say, we know it does, but you can also tell what it most often feels like. Because that is the vibration that you've practiced. That's sort of your proclivity to vibrate, you might say. A sort of habit of vibration. Now, how did those vibrations on various subjects become dominant? Well, it happened because when you gave your attention to it, it activated it within you. And when you gave your attention to it often enough and activated it within you enough, law of attraction helped you settle into that sort of vibrational rut, so to speak. So, what if I have a vibrational pattern or tendency? What if I've activated something that I really don't want to activate? What if I've activated the idea of vulnerability? Or what if I've activated the idea of not enough money? How do I deactivate that? And we say, well, you can't. Because when you look at this thing that you want to deactivate, you don't deactivate it, you activate it. Because you live in a universe that is inclusion-based. When you look at something you want, you include it in your vibration by virtue of your activation of vibration. But when you look at something you don't want and you say, no, 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 get away from me, you include that in your vibration too. So when you see this thing that you do not want and you say, I'm going to deactivate you, you don't deactivate it, you activate it. So if you want to not activate something, then don't activate it. So how do you not activate it? Well, you ignore it. You don't give your attention to it. You activate something else. So the way you don't activate one thing is by activating another. And so it is a matter of choosing. It's sort of like going to a buffet. You don't say, let's see, what will I not eat? What will I not eat here today? Well, I'm not going to eat that, and I'm not going to eat that. The waiter comes to your table and says, may I help you? And you say, yes, don't bring me this, and don't bring me this, and don't bring... And the waiter would say, it might go quicker if you tell me what you would like me to bring to you. And that's the idea of deactivating. You get it? In other words, you talk about what you do want. So as you begin to recognize that law of attraction is responding to your vibration, and you begin to deliberately choose what you think about, not because you're sorting out all of the thoughts and you've determined that this is the best thought to think, but because as you tried to think different thoughts and you were aware of how the thought felt, you begin to deliberately choose your thoughts based upon the way they resonate with you as you ponder them. And sometimes it takes a little while. Sometimes you have to get into a thought a little bit before you can get a clear reading on it, just like sometimes you had to eat some of that stuff before you really came to a conclusion about how you felt about it. There's no right or wrong in any of this. It's a matter of you defining what feels good to you when you ponder it, when you include it into your vibrational mix. You see, the creative process is only about you, the point of attraction, aligning the energy within you. You recall seeing, you don't see too much of it anymore, occasionally, but in time past, it was very common to see two horses or two mules hooked together with a collar, pulling a wagon or a plow. And when they pulled together, when they were both inspired to go in the same direction at the same speed with the same canter, it was a nice experience for everyone involved. In other words, there was power in the connection of the two. But if one didn't want to go and the other one was willing, or if one wanted to go back to the barn and one didn't, if they were pulling in different directions, it was an uncomfortable experience for them and for everyone else involved. And we want very much for you to realize that you are both of those horses. Within you is the horse that you call your desire. Esther said it's not a streetcar after all. It's the horse. There's this horse called desire, and there's this horse called belief. Or this horse called desire and this horse called what my usual vibration is about this subject. And if they are not pulling in the same direction, now you're having that discomfort that is called negative emotion. Your negative emotion is in every case your indicator of your misalignment. It's not about anything to do with anyone else. It's not about the perfection in the universe, or it's not about the rightness by some other standards. It's about the alignment of the energy within you, which is the only thing that is important to you, because when you are aligned, when the energy of you is aligned, now you are in the place of allowing. Allowing what? Allowing your connection to source, and therefore allowing all that you consider to be good. Allowing clarity, allowing vitality, allowing balance, allowing physical well-being, allowing abundance, allowing all that is your legacy that you would all be living if you were not doing that thing you do that is not allowing it, which is always accompanied by the presence of negative emotion. So when someone says to you, follow your bliss, they are giving you the best guidance that anyone could ever give you, because they are saying, utilize the guidance system that you were born with to understand the content of your vibrational makeup in order to mold the content of your vibrational makeup into the state that allows the source energy that is really you to flow to you in this moment of your focus. How good is that? How wonderful it is to have this moment by moment by moment awareness of your connection to source, while at the same time you get to choose the direction in which source flows. What a promise you had when you came forth into this body. You knew that you were leading edge creators, and that the environment would inspire you to your individual and collective desires. And that when you as an individual consciousness is aligned to your own desire, that all that is would align with all manner of circumstance and event and support to assist you in the culmination of whatever it is that you could imagine. You said, I am creator, and I will go forth and I will have a joyous experience. In fact, you were so set on a joyous experience that you said, joy will be my quest.